So how is diet and spirituality connected? I think that's a pretty good question. I think we kind of tend to be misled when it comes to this. Some of us, me myself, used to believe that it was connected in the sense that we more that we were supposed to eat this kind of diet because we were supposed to be perfect, if you know what I mean. That was my idea I had before. But if we really look into it, what spirituality is about is us becoming free from ideas, concepts, from suffering. And so that we can be happy, joyful and harmonious every time, every situation, and not being obsessed and trapped by the mind that's projecting things towards us and from really hindering us from living in the moment, the present moment, and experience life to its fullest. So what the diet actually comes into the picture is kind of simple in the sense that if you think about becoming free from the mental aspects, diet is regarded, connected to spirituality, as becoming free from the pain body experience. Because there is actually a lot of people out there, so many people, probably over 95% of the people out there, who don't have any idea that the things they're eating are actually making them sick and creating diseases in the body. And that's unfortunate, and that's the way it is. We just have to accept it and work from there. But most people cannot see any connection between those two things, that the things that you actually eat. If you have a person who eats mainly processed things, pizzas, pan pizzas, foods that are in a package that they will heat in a microwave, that's the only kind of nutrition that they get. They can't see the connection with that and the cause and then the effect later on in form of something being wrong in the body. The body signaling that, okay man, now is something that you need to look out for here. The body will signal it in the form of maybe a tumor, maybe a heart attack, maybe a stroke, maybe Alzheimer's, which is connected to the brain, or whatever you wanna use an example. But the thing that what means becoming free from the pain body experience is, I can tell you actually a fresh example, because this week, or you can say that I started before the weekend, and this week I'm actually cutting down on coffee. I'm having a plan on maybe stop doing it for a while, maybe quitting actually, because this year I've been having a few occasions where I've been off coffee for maybe a week, and now I started to do it again. I've been on my maybe 4th day and have this severe headache, which is a sign to me that you should really take a break because you're drinking too much, because you are, in a way, you're addicted to it, because every time we have withdrawal symptoms, we are addicted to something. We're addicted to something in the sense that we do it too much, the body gets dependent on it, and it's so used to have it that if we don't provide it for the body, for the nervous system, it will scream and shout, hey, what the fuck, yeah, I want that, give me that drug now. Because let's face it, coffee is just as a drug as any other thing is out there. It's a substance, caffeine, it's a neurotoxin. The body has to get rid of it. The body takes water from the cells to flush out the toxins. That's why you always have to go to pee when you drink coffee, even if you're not really, your bladder is not full, but you have to go to pee 20 minutes after anyway, because it's toxins. Those are the same thing with a lot of foods we're eating, especially when we're cooking it. And the list goes on. So the whole idea of becoming free from pain body experience is to remove these things that are enslaving us. And I'm not saying that we cannot use them. I'm not saying I'll never drink it again. I more want to get myself to the place where, like I do with alcohol now, I don't consider myself as a person who drink alcohol in that way, because I can go 6 months without doing it, but then maybe I can have a period where I drink every weekend for 3 weeks or something like that. So I do it very occasionally, but I'm not enslaved by it. I don't need it. If someone would say to me, you can never drink a drop anymore in your life, I would be totally fine with that. No worries. But what I've experienced that with coffee thing is, for me, have been that I really liked it in the morning, and when I do it in the morning, it kind of triggers me to take it during the middle of the day and in the afternoon as well. Because I noticed that, and I don't notice that when I do, like, let's say, chai latte, like tea or matcha or mushroom coffee. I've tried it out now, which is awesome. that explains for me that the caffeine in the coffee is very, very addictive. And it is, and it's also very bad because it's, like I said, it's a toxin. It's funny because there is actually some studies out there, and they clearly see what, like, the neurological patterns in the brain, what happens when we do caffeine compared to when, let's say, we actually do heroin, cocaine, or watch porn. And the caffeine is kind of messed up, to be honest. It actually looks the worst. So it sure is something that is not very good for us. And then there's a lot of people who say that they use it because they want to get energy, but we have to understand that you can never get energy that is not from, what do you say, the natural vital energy sources. Like the sun, for example, that gives you energy. The right foods gives you energy. The sleep gives you energy. Those things. But caffeine just stresses the body. The body produces stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. That is what makes you view it as getting energy, but you're actually losing energy. But it's kind of signaling the same message, but it's not the right cause. So people get lost there. They think they get energy, but the body actually gets rid of energy. But anyhow, back to the main topic about spirituality connected to this is that if we really want to be free from the pain of experience, we have to be able to get to a point where we consider what we're eating. And I said it before many times on this channel. I have many videos about me eating predominantly fruit, because once you experience this, once you have eaten predominantly fruit, you have had a period of a lot of detoxing. You clean out not everything, but a lot of bad stuff, substances and old material. Is that you will, after you have done that, you will actually notice the things that is not good for you. So now this summer I've been having a little experiment. I've been trying out some old things to see really how I react to them. And every time I, like, say, drink coffee, I can always feel that I get affected by it. If I compare that to, let's say, chai latte or matcha, it's a huge difference. I don't feel anything about the other two, but coffee, I feel I get stressed. I feel I get a crash after I get tired. It starts to like this, you know. So that's kind of interesting that when we have a period off by eating very clean, we detox a lot, and we fast, we will notice the things that is not good for the body, because every time the body gets something into the system that is not supposed to be there, it will try to force it out as quick as possible. The cleaner the system is, the more highly efficient your bodies are removing it, you will feel bad as soon as possible. But most people today, they can never understand this, because they keep eating the same foods, the same cooked foods, the same processed crap, and they will never ever allow the body to finally have a period off so that they can clean and repair, which means that they will never experience those symptoms, that is detox symptoms, because that's what disease is. But what happens later on, when you have had a period when you're eating too much negative things, is that you will reach a peak crisis, toxicity crisis, where the body just flushes out all the poisonous chemicals and toxic chemicals and stuff right at once, and that's what you will translate into calling it a flu or any other disease. So that's what happens. It's not that very hard to understand once you just get a grip of it. And what I mean get a grip of it is that you experience what I'm talking about here now. And you will never ever experience it unless you change it, eating cleaner, eating whole foods, primarily plants, because that doesn't create any toxic compounds in the body, especially fruits. There are some vegetables that have defense chemicals, sure, that have a very hard fiber to break down, and which is not optimal. Generally speaking, it's the plants that we want, because that doesn't create any issues with inside the system. But to summarize it, like to view it in the same sense as we view everything else. Like we do the shadow work. We go in, we let go of negative feelings, we let go of the things that we can't control from our own experience, and we view them as they are, as what they are, with everything. It can be things going on in the world, things that happens over these few years now. We cannot do anything about it. The only thing we can do is we work on ourselves. We move ourselves up to a higher state of consciousness, and in that way we will radiate that towards other people around us. and people will start to take notice. They will notice our behavior changes. They will notice our view of the world changes, and ourselves, and they will take notes of that. And that's how we change the world, because we change the world from our point of view by us getting to a place of more freedom from suffering. And that's also the same thing with diet. We let go of experience these illnesses and sicknesses that most people actually unfortunately have to deal with later on in life. And that's, I mean, who wants to experience that? Who wants to lay in the deathbed with suffering, feeling aches and pains everywhere in the body? Coming in a nurse and shoveling like a needle in your arm every hour because you're so sick, because you're part of the system, and they don't know where the thing's in either. So it's so fascinating, to be honest, in a way. But and also, like, if I take myself for example, I've been through my actions now. Even I haven't said a word basically to my family members, but I've inspired them to change their diet so that they're eating predominantly good, I would say. Now they still eat some. My mom and dad still eat some of the bad stuff a little too often, but they're lots better, I would say, than where they were before. And I would say that in the new routines that they have now, and the kind of like direction moving on, they will probably not experience the negative things I just mentioned. Because if we just stop at the right time, but if we stop not too late, I would say, the body will fix most of it on its own. Because the body is a fascinating and amazing machine. It can deal with a lot of issues. I mean, sometimes you're just wondering how people can even get up in the morning. Like let's say they eat 7 meals on McDonald's every day, or maybe 15 twice a day, drink Coca-Cola and sodas every day, and they still get up in the morning with no diseases yet. So the body can for sure take care of a lot. But if we want to become free from this aspect of life, we have to take our own responsibility and change. And also think for ourselves, think logic, think with a rational mind. Also what we should eat, what feels best for you. What does your natural senses tell you? I mean, does your natural senses tell you to go out and hunt a deer now and skin it with a knife and cook it, or eat it raw, or just go out to pick an apple or a mango or banana from the tree? What makes more sense to you? So if we start using the senses more, we will get to the place we are meant to be. But like I said, also, we don't have to be perfect. It's not about that. It's not about being obsessed, because a lot of people are obsessed with the idea that they need to eat that thing all the time and they can't try anything else, because then you're creating a new mental prison in your mind, new concepts. I mean, we're just creating another prison in our mind and another illusion that we need to follow, you know. And that was the case for me, because I started to create exactly that. I had this idea when I started this journey that my main goal was to become like a fruitarian, you know, like to transition to that state. But now I kind of like changed that, and I view it in another way now. I view it more like, you can say that everything comes down to the 80-20 rule, you know, like doing 80-90% optimal and good, and then you have a lot of things you can gamble with. But what I want to say is that I don't want to limiting myself in my life and the way I want to experience life just because I want to follow a certain rules or some certain ideas that people have put up, you know, because I want to be totally free. And just because I eat predominantly fruit, let's say, I still want to have the ability to maybe have a glass of wine, have a beer, have a coffee, or maybe even try a meat dish in the future. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm not going to limit myself because I want to follow a strict like idea that someone has brought in here, you know. And I think that's the whole case with everything. Like, if we do mostly good things, the body will be fine, because we usually forget also that the thing that is most powerful is the mind, the mental aspect. That's the most powerful thing there is, but this is the thing that creates the life that we see. And it vibrates on a much higher level than the physical body, which means that if we're eating something and we're suffering, if we say we're going to follow something very strict, and then we relapse, we eat something bad, and then creates immense suffering inside ourselves because of the mental aspect. That's going to have a much greater degree of level of negativity in the body than if you would just eat something that you want to eat and feel fine about it and don't create any like issues or any struggling with it, you know. So I think that's my lesson this year. That's what I had up here. Now I want to try out things again and just release and let go of things that I've created, new ideas. And that goes the same with if we want to move in similar attention to this talk. Like, I had also the idea that I could never spill my seed, but I realized now, after I've been not practicing similar attention for the last 5 months, that it's just an idea, it's an illusion. And you don't have to do that. Sure, you can choose to experience that, but I'd rather not, to be honest. But that's up to you. It's all up to you. You do whatever you want. So to wrap the video up, spirituality is getting free from the pain body experience and to become free from the suffering that we create in the flesh, Because the real spirituality is becoming free from the mind, so that we can calm down the mind, experience life in the present moment with no attachments or illusions that are hindering us from living the life we want to live. So yeah, that's it for today. Take care now. See you soon. Bye.